notice not so quickly, not so at so steep rate, the organic composition of capital has increased. More and more capital is being invested in machines and raw materials, as distinct from in paying wages to the workers. The rate of surplus value has increased as well, as we've gone through in this example, and yet the rate of profit has fallen. Okay, this is quite a fair presentation of Marx's argument. Okay, you can see all of these are internally consistent with each other. So as labor becomes more productive, the rate of profit falls. I'm now going to give you another case, which is similar, but with one change. And what the change is that, again, we go from 100 invested to 200 invested to 400 invested, but my surplus value is increasing faster. And so the rate of profit does not fall, and then only falls slightly, because in this case, surplus value, rate of surplus value has increased enough to counteract the fall in the rate of profit. So the mass of capital increases in the same as A. The mass of surplus value increases more than A. The organic composition of capital increases to the same degree as A. The rate of surplus value increases more. Okay, so in other words, the organic composition factor I've kept the same between these two cases, and the only difference between them is the rate of surplus value. And so you can see that by increasing the rate of surplus value more, this capital totality can hold off the fall in the rate of profit. The counteraction of the tendency is real. Okay, now what I want to do is to take this down to one level of detail more, and I'm going to suppose that this first value regime, case A, country A if you like, has a subdivision between two sectors. So this is the summary which we've already got, the overall picture. Okay, we've got 200 invested, surplus value of 25, rate of profit of 12.5%. But how that's obtained is by having two distinct sectors. Most of the investment is in sector 1, some of the investment is in sector 2. But sector 2 is a much higher rate of surplus value, or a significantly higher rate of surplus value, and it generates a higher rate of profit. Okay, because sector 2 is low organic composition of capital. This corresponds roughly to the agricultural sector within a country. I mean, agricultural workers generally are more lowly paid than urban industrial workforce. And so, and this also assumes that the extra surplus value produced in agriculture is shared across the overall. There is an issue here. It could not be shared because it could be that landlords capture it. That's one issue, right? The other issue here is, notice I'm not really showing a mechanism at all of any transfer. This is just a numerical average. So it could be that the capitals in this sector do make 33.3 and the capitals in this sector make 8.5%, but the average will be 12.5. We don't yet know how the equalization actually takes place. Okay, now same issue again, going to the next level down, but for country B now in the second period. And these two sectors are similar to what we had in country A, but what I'm doing here is this country invests more in sector 2. So the rate of profit is pretty much the same as we've had before between the two sectors, but because there's more capital invested in this sector, that means that the average rate of profit is higher than in country A. Okay. So what's happened here is that decline in the rate of profit has been offset successfully by greater investment in sector 2. the low organic composition, high rate of surplus value sector. Now, the equalization of the rate of profit, as we've already discussed before, comes about in order to form a general rate of profit. And the way that that's done, Marx posits, is that in fact commodities do not exchange at their simple values, but at what he calls their prices of production. So this is a means by which profit rates become equalized, is that the commodities in low organic composition sectors will sell at prices which are below their simple values, and commodities in the high-tech sectors will sell at prices of production which are above their simple values. And I show this for this same country A in period 2, and what you can see over on the right is the simple value, which is C plus V plus S here, is not the same as the price of production. So for the high composition capital sector, this price of production is higher than the simple value, and contrastingly, it's lower in the low composition sector. And this is what Marx is positing as the mechanism of equalization of the rate of profit across the two sectors. So in this case, both sectors would get the same rate of profit, which would be 12.5%. Now, there is a point here which I've commented on before, and again, it's another example of it. If you look at the rate of surplus value of these two sectors, it's higher in sector 2 than it is in sector 1. The workers in sector 2 are paid less than the workers in sector 1. The wage rate is lower by whatever that will be, something like 30% lower, okay? However, if you look at the profit against wages, then it would appear that the workers in sector 1 are more exploited than the workers in sector 2, okay? Because, why is that? Because the amount of profit per worker is greater in sector 1 than in sector 2.